thank you for joining me for this, the 2 Must Ask Questions of Member Affinity Programs mini webinar. Mini webinars. Webinars are educational experiences for membership professionals and those that are responsible for growing their membership programs. And this is going to be a mini webinar, as I'm saying. It only lasts about 30 minutes. And so we have a lot of content to go through. So I'm going to go quickly through the presentation as quickly as I can and make sure that you get all the information that you're looking for out of this. And then hopefully have some time at the end for a Q&A. And let's see. All right. And so then the Next Steps LLC is producing this presentation, and we are a CAE approved provider. So you are allowed to receive a half credit for going towards your CAE credential and for this half hour of education. And if you need more information about that, you can go to our website or the ASAE website on CAE accreditation. We do please allow us about 48 hours to get you that certificate for you to use in going forward. So let's get started with this. Let's talk about the affinity relationship. Let's look at how that relationship works and how you should approach working with affinity partners. So now, in preparing for this session, I thought, a good analogy for this might be like a garden, that you've tended to your garden of members and you've built them and grown them over time. And same with like a crop on a farm, you've built this large crop and, at some point it needs to be harvested. And, maybe you share that with partners or you do that. Well, I realized that the better analogy would actually to be looking at it as sheep. Okay, that your members are actually sheep. So go with me here. Hang in there. It's going to be a little fun, a little roller coaster, but just hear me out on this one, okay? And no offense to your members. We're not calling, your members sheep. It's just an analogy. Hopefully you can give me a little leeway on this, okay? So, your members are there. You've tended to them and you've brought them together. Okay, they may be separated and out in the field like this, but what you've done is you've brought them together under one umbrella, which you call your membership. Okay, or your flock, okay, your herd, whatever you would like to call them. This is your flock, and you're tending to them, and you've grown them over time, okay? That's you, the shepherd over there in the back, and as a membership professional or just tending to any membership program, you're shepherding your program and your sheep and your members together to keep them together and keep all their interests taken care of. But you tend to them day after day and, week after week, and month after month, year after year, maybe even decade after decade for some of you that have been in the profession for a long, long time. And, you've got to, you've tended to them, and the way that you get forward and move forward and take care of yourself is by, you get to use their coat. Okay, by shearing them, and I'm avoiding saying the word fleecing, but you make a good stream of revenue by taking their wool, shearing them, and then taking that and selling it on the market. And so that's basically what the sheep do to provide you dues. Okay, that's the way they pay for the care and feeding of them as you just like the dues that you take in from your members as you take care of your members and feed them, valuable resources and information. Okay, so keep with me here. Hang in there. We're going to have a little bit more fun with this. Okay, so your members may not be as cute as this one that you see, but you love them all the same. Okay, and you want them to be around for as long as possible. Keep them happy and healthy, professionally and personally. Happiness and healthiness. Okay, you want to make sure that they're taken care of, and all the needs that they have, all your members' needs are taken care of on a regular basis. So you keep them around, again, retaining them. To do that, you must continually feed them good quality, healthy sustenance, right? And which is like food and like, clean water and vitamins, but that's the value that you're providing them, okay? That's your value proposition, what you're taking care of, what you're feeding them on a regular basis to make sure that their needs are taken care of, okay? Keep with me here. Now, this keeps them happy and providing you with ample wool on an ongoing basis, which, again, that's their dues that they pay to you. So you carefully keep track of all of your members. You log them in and tend to each of their individual needs over time to ensure their longevity with your organization, and to keep them alive and going within your herd or your flock on a regular basis. And again, you've grown your herd and you've tended to it. Now, that brings us to the affinity relationship, okay? Sometimes outsiders want to form a partnership with you where they offer some value for food, okay? Food or value to your flock, okay, to your sheep. And, your sheep then they come to the partner to eat, possibly, okay? And the partner is given permission to shear the sheep and take that wool to the market and make money off of that. So that's kind of what that same type of relationship you have, okay? You're all right with that. Now, it does have a little impact on your organization, okay? As the sheep, they will grow their wool back, and so that you'll still have a chance to take that and take it to market. You'll still get your dues. Your members remain your members, right? And it only temporarily hurts your revenue and profits, since the sheep is unlikely to provide, more wool until a certain, period of time has gone by. Okay, so again, you're kind of sharing the wallet, sharing the funds that they may have of their budget with your affinity partners. For instance, your members may not have the funds to spend on your organization's non-dues products, programs, and services if they've just spent money with one of your affinity partners. Okay, and so those partners, they get those services, and it's a good service that they receive. It's valuable service, but it may take away from your bottom line as an organization. And it's an inconvenience, but one you live with to continue the relationship, not only with the partner, but also with your members, okay? Because again, it offers those members the value. So once your sheep, your members, right, partake from your partner, the partner has a chance to tag your sheep, your members that come to them, and the sheep, if the sheep ever, leave the flock, okay, that means if that membership expires or they drop their membership for some reason, well, the partner can continue their relationship with those members, those sheep, and shear them and get that fleece. Again, kind of fleecing them at that point, maybe, I don't know, but regularly they get a chance to benefit and profit from that relationship that they have. So the bottom line is that the partner keeps these customers for themselves, regardless of whether those members remain with your organization or not. Okay, hopefully you followed me with all, on all that. Okay, it does kind of wrap up there as far as that's how the relationship works. And we just need to be careful, because the thing about memberships and affinity programs is that these partners are coming on and kind of borrowing your members and taking that list and getting access to them, and they sometimes will take advantage of that, and the organization may not benefit as much. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to get to those 2 must-ask questions that really will help define a better relationship with your partner for affinities. So, oops, that's not what I wanted. So let's move on and talk let's get out of this analogy. No more sheep, I promise, okay? But let's talk about the reasons for affinity programs. Well, we've already talked about it. It adds value to the value proposition for your members, okay? So what you're trying to do is make sure that, you constantly have a good, solid value proposition that your members are happy with, that will attract new members, lure them in and help recruit new members, but also just keep the ones that you already have and make sure that you retain as many members as possible. So added value always is going to help retain more members and grow your organization. You want your organization to be the one-stop shop for anything for your members. They have a lot of needs. They're coming to you to get help and resources and information. And so this is your way of saying, look, we're going to bring in as many of the providers as we can to make sure that you're as part of your membership experience, that you have a good one and that you have good value coming through, and we strengthen that on a regular basis. Now, then you want to make sure that they're aware of those partners. Some of your partners are very, it's very important to them that your members are aware of them, but, connect them with those industry partners and make sure that they're aware of that, those providers out there, because again, we're trying to meet the needs of the members on a regular basis. And then this will also generate additional revenue, okay? And that's the whole point here. Now, it could be just that it's providing new revenues because you're able to retain more members, or you're able to recruit, additional members than you usually would because you have this affinity relationship. But also, there are agreements with these affinity partners that provide you with more, non-dues compensation, okay? So a lot of times you may have, partnerships where they provide you with a royalty, or they provide you with a share of the profits that they make from that relationship that they've built with customers because they found those customers through your organization, that membership. I'll throw out an example here. I work for an organization, ASCD was the organization, and we way back when SmartBrief started, we started working with them, and this was kind of an affinity relationship. Basically, SmartBrief would send out newsletters to our members on a regular basis, weekly, I think daily they ended up going, and by doing that, they also sold advertising, so they had a large subscribership, and they were able to sell advertising. Well, what they were doing was giving us a cut of the advertising revenue as part of that relationship they had with us. And I think they have other relationships where they actually charge a subscription fee for people to get onto those newsletters, and then obviously share it with the association that they're involved with or partnered with. So that's just one way of looking at it, and how to share the compensation or make sure that there is some revenue that's generated because of it. So you want this relationship and partnership to be mutually beneficial, right? So for your organization, as we talked about before, you're going to add value to your value proposition, okay? Maybe it's discounts or services or those type of things, but something they want to get, if they, in normal life, if they weren't a member of your organization. It obviously supports retention and recruitment. I say obviously, but yet I'm going to talk a little bit about that because that's part of one of our must-ask questions. Does it truly support retention and recruitment? Let's talk about that in a little bit, okay? And then additional revenue. Obviously, we just talked about that too. That's what your organization gets. But when you look at the partner side of things, what are they getting out of this? Well, they get access to your list regularly for prospecting purposes. They are looking for prospects. They are looking for sales. And the only way to do that is to have a good prospect list and send them to the sales funnel to get them through that cycle and convert them into customers, right? Well, they form an ongoing relationship with your members because of that partnership. And so because they have that relationship, just like the spam rules, the canned spam rules, that basically as long as you have a relationship, you can communicate with these folks. And these folks, may not have opted into their list, or maybe they basically go through that process because your organization somewhat endorsed, I'm putting up my quotation fingers here, but someone endorsed their service. So by endorsing it, then they feel safer to actually get in a relationship with those providers. And then recruitment of new prospects and customers to put on their list. Again, they're all about kind of what I call kind of scraping off prospects and customers from your member list, okay? They may not even know about these people, but they know that they're in their niche. And so it's a place where they can go to grab those prospects. Now, this saves them a boatload of money by doing this because, how much more time and effort would they have to do by buying lists and doing more marketing and advertising and sales just to find these people, much less convert them into a sale, because, once, they can't find those folks in number one, but number two, maybe they're not, supported or endorsed by an organization like your own, but basically it's just out of the blue and very cold. You provide this warm connection between the provider and those direct, customers that they're looking for in the prospect. So, it is somewhat of an endorsement, but I also like looking at it as more just as a warmer relationship than, doing cold calling. All right, so let's get to these two questions and talk a little bit about them because they're really important for you to ask, okay? Then the must-ask question number one is what you're offering our members exclusive to our members. So, you go into this relationship and you think, okay, well, this is great. These are great discounts and these are great services. And, they've really done something special for us as an organization and our members. And we want to go out and market it and show them how valuable it is. Well, it doesn't show much value if they can get it somewhere else. Okay. Again, another example, and I'm going to use ASCD as an example because this was really a great example for this. So ASCD is a large organization made up of educators and principals. Okay. And those educators, they teach math and biology and science. And then there's some principals that are part of elementary school principals or secondary school principals. Well, all those roles within education have their own organizations and associations. So there's lots and dozens of education organizations out there that are, going and vying to try to build their membership as well. Well, we found out that at AACD that there's a lot of overlap between the, the core subject matter organizations and our organization. That was fine. We're fine with that. Yet when an Affinity partner or provider came to me as the membership director there and said, hey, look, we'd like to have a partnership. We have a relationship and we'd like to, take your member list and send them out this services. And to do that, we're going to give them this discount, or, we're going to give them special treatment. And then I would usually respond and say, okay, well, is what you're offering my members exclusive to our membership and not offered by any of those other education organizations? And a lot of times I get that, kind of deer in the headlights, look at me and like, well, no, it's basically the same discount they would get from those other education organizations. And, one of those offers was like a credit card, and I'd said, well, can you offer me a lower interest rate for my members versus any of the other members? And, ask them those type of things. And a lot of times they're like, yeah, no way, we can't do that. Well, then then it doesn't make any sense for us to do that because they can get it from those other organizations. Why should we offer it? It doesn't, attract any more members, and it doesn't, keep any more members if they already have those memberships and can get it from their other organizations. So most of the times I just turn them down and say, until you come up with something that's exclusive for our members and really special, okay, you say it's special, but it's not really special if they can get it anywhere else, then I'm not interested. Now, with smaller organizations, you may not be able to have that, power behind those statements, but it isn't still an important question to ask and try to figure out how can we get something that's really special, really exclusive, and really valuable to our members that meets their needs. Okay. And so, some of my notes here, it's, too many times the provider is just gathering up the data sources within a certain industry to create an all-encompassing, comprehensive database of prospects and leads for their marketing and promotional purposes and messages. And then offering, somewhat of an average or generalized service to all their clients. If they can't provide our members with something they can't get anywhere else, well, then it's not worth our investment of time and effort to implement and promote it to our members, because it does take a lot of time and effort for you to work with these partners and get your members what they're needing through that partnership. So yeah. Okay, make sure that you ask this question and see if you can actually get them to say, yes, we can do that. And if they can, then you've got something good and really special there that really does offer a ton of value to your members. Now, let's look at must-ask question number 2 as we have a couple more minutes before we kind of wrap up and open this up to questions, okay? Number 2, does the service you offer end when the membership ends? Okay, now, again, a lot of deer in the headlights are people like, whoa, now you're going overboard. Let's not get too deep into that rabbit hole. Well, yes, we are going to. And that's what I tell them face to face when I talk to them in a meeting and say, look, this is what I need to understand, because, this makes no sense to me why we should have a relationship with you if you can't tie it to the membership itself. Okay, now, another different ways of saying this is your service or product tied to the membership status. Is enrollment of our members in your service tied to our membership cycle? Okay, or if they drop our membership, does the service you provide get turned off too? Okay, so there's a lot of different ways to ask this just to make sure that you get to the point and the root of this issue. Now, if not, then the provider can't honestly say it will help with member retention. And a lot of them approach you and say, look, by having this as an affinity partnership and providing this added value and added benefit or added service to to your value proposition or your list of benefits, well, yeah, it's going to help your retention. Well, not necessarily. Okay, and it's really important for you to really think hard about that and say, well, does it truly help with retention? Because how does it do that? Well, yeah, added value always helps with the retention, but this needs to be tied to the membership. So they make that argument because there's added value and improves retention. That's an indirect correlation then that they're talking about, is that just because we add value, you're going to retain more members. Well, tying the service to the membership status is a direct correlation between actual retention and the valuable service that they're offering. Okay. Now, again, I love seeing the reactions from the salespeople. They think we're going overboard a little bit, but if it's a discount, our members should get that discount. Non-members shouldn't. Okay. And if, for instance, like if it's insurance, they get a special deal on the premium that they pay each month. Well, I ask, okay, that's fine. If that's wonderful, they get this discount, Geico offers like a 10% discount to those that are signing up through this membership. Well, that's great. Well, what if they drop my membership? Will they lose that 10% discount and go back to their regular premium rates? That's what I want. I want you to show me how that works, and let's make that work together, because I think that's going to be powerful for retaining those members, because I can easily send them in their renewal notifications if they've gone beyond the expiration date and they're in their grace period. I can easily mention that, hey, look, your insurance premiums are going to go back up because your expiration date was in the past, and if you drop this membership, it will cost you money. Okay, that's powerful when it comes time for you to ask them to renew. Remember, the providers are just grabbing up data and dumping that into their own database to generate more sales and volume. That they don't want to have to bother to check the membership status, regularly with us. Well, that's too bad. But with technology these days, it can happen much quicker and easier to kind of merge those lists and find out who's a member and who's not. Maybe quarterly. I'm not saying every week. I'm not saying every month. Maybe quarterly is enough just to show that, yes, your premiums are going to go up, or you're going to lose this discount, or you'll no longer be able to get this service because of the fact that you're dropping this membership. So I think this is critical to really hash out with them. And if you choose, to still go ahead with the partnership, if neither one of these questions are, yes, to their answers to this are yes, then you need to make sure they understand that that you need some more compensation for that to make up for the fact that they're really not, really helping things. They're just taking your data. So make sure, I guess, my bottom line with this is that you've worked really hard, and that's what I was doing with the sheep analogy, was you've worked really hard over years to build this membership up to a point where these outside, service providers are coming to you and saying, we want to partner with you, and you have some value there. Well, don't just give it away. You don't give away the farm. Don't just hand it over and say, yeah, just so to get that service, I'm just going to hand you all this data that I've worked, years and invested lots of time and lots of money into to build up over the years. Don't take that for granted. Make sure that you really show the value and really understand the value of what you have when it comes to working with partners like that. It really does. Again, I want to mention and reemphasize that it's going to cost them a lot of money to go out and find these people on their own if they don't get access to your membership list. So if they want your list, make them buy it each and every time that they use it as well. Okay, if make sure that you're charging enough, because the list rentals are a huge profit area, revenue stream for a lot of organizations. So that's the end of that. So I want to just mention that we have some mini seminars coming up on October 8th in just 2 weeks. We're going to do one called a member onboarding blueprint. It basically, this presentation will give you a blueprint you can use in developing an onboarding plan and a schedule of activities that you'll do to make sure that you properly onboard members and build that value over the time, that first year, to make sure that you get more of those renewals happening in that first year. And then we have another one that's tentatively scheduled for October 22nd that's focused on the elements of an effective membership brochure. everyone still has membership brochures, okay? That not everything is, not all print is gone. So let's talk about what you need to put in those membership brochures to make sure that you get those. And these are free mini seminars. They happen every 2 weeks, basically 12:30 Tuesdays, and we're really glad to be able to provide this education for membership professionals. I also want to mention that we do have a membership. The businessofmembership.com has a membership. It's the professional membership for membership professionals. Those of you that are really focused on building membership programs, then this is the place for you. And we offer complimentary registration as part of the membership. When you pay your dues, you get complimentary registration to all the live full seminars, which do cost money to register for. And those are going to happen, several times a month, and build up over the year. And we have, probably dozens of videos and education already online for you to access as archived recordings. We also have tools and templates and checklists and a ton of, resources that are available to you behind the firewall at businessofmembership.com, as well as a huge list of links that are to information resources from other sources, whether it's blogs or articles or just research, all that, even other webinars that are provided by others. We provide links to that, so you don't have to go searching all over the web for that stuff. It's right there ready for you. And we have a great promotion right now going on. You can get actually 2 years for the price of one just by using our discount code. So you pay for 1 year and you're going to get 2 full years, 24 months rather than 12 months of the membership. So it's kind of like a 50% discount, but the way I look at it is that it's a 2-year membership that you're buying for only 1 year's worth of dues. So use the discount code FOUNDING when you go to businessofmembership.com and click the join link, and you'll be able to get that discount and get access to all these great resources for you to use on a daily basis to make sure that you improve your program, optimize it, make it more effective and efficient as a program, because you have the resources there to make that happen. So now we're at the Q&A side of things. We have a few minutes left for that. So any questions that are out there, I'd be happy to answer them. I'm going to look here in the chat if you want to use the chat, or use the Q&A portion of this. I got the chat up here, and let me pull up the Q&A, see if there's any questions there. Again, I feel very strongly about this, as you can tell, and very passionately about the fact that if you partner, and it doesn't have to be an actual affinity partnership. If you partner anywhere with any outside sources or partnerships or providers, I truly feel as though you need to get the most out of that partnership, and maybe even the scale should be a little bit more balanced on your side of things rather than the provider. These are for-profit companies, make a ton of profit off these services, and by them wanting to tap into your membership that you've worked so hard to build, I truly feel that that's something that they need to pay for and compensate you for properly. So I'm coming from this as a membership professional and an advocate for the membership programs and growth there, rather than focused on the betterment of providers. Okay, here's a question from Alan. Which specific programs seem to work the best with most memberships? Shipping discounts aren't very exclusive. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm not sure about the answer to that as far as, the specific programs. There's so many different affinity programs out there, and it really varies from industry to industry. The shipping may be a big part of that. And yes, I know about the shipping discounts, but it's mostly like trade associations. When you're dealing with organizations, agencies, or government agencies, or in other institutions, a lot of them, really see a lot of value in getting shipping discounts. But yeah, you can get shipping discounts from pretty much any relationship that you have out there. And which ones seem to work the best with most memberships? I think those programs that get down to more of the individual basis. So even if you're a trade association, you're working with organizations or corporations as your members, you are still working with individuals. And if you offer some type of discount or offerings to them, maybe it is some type of kind of an affiliate relationship. A lot of times these days they call them affiliate relationships. That you can, the individuals are benefiting from this membership because they're able to do that. Any cool or new ones out there? I've seen some of the most, again, the rental cards, and even the credit cards. I'm not even sure they do credit cards anymore. I've seen the shipping definitely is one of those. But I've seen a lot of these kind of compiled providers of like entertainment, and that they can get discounted tickets for concert tickets and other tickets or passes and things like that. Or one of the things that kind of, I think it's still one of the more popular ones, is like gift cards, that you're able to get a $20 gift card for only $17 or something like that because you ordered it through this service. And so I'd have to go looking for providers of those, because I haven't really worked with the organizations recently to get those affinity relationships started and happening. But I want to make sure that they're still around. But yeah, gift cards and things like that. I don't know about healthcare, healthcare insurance, but I know that there's these the health savings accounts. Those a lot of times are doing those, are out there, and you can find ways of using that. But a lot of insurance providers, when it comes to that, I dealt with these education organizations. There's a trust for insuring educators that actually provides a lot of insurance products, and that includes the savings accounts, the health savings accounts, and those are things that they're out there, and I know that organizations are taking advantage of them. I don't really have specific names of these providers to help you out with, but I can research that, and if I do have that, I will definitely put it up on our website for those that want to look into those lists, because I think that's very valuable to be able to offer. So great questions, and I want to make sure that we can compile that for you and find those answers, because it obviously will help any of these membership programs grow and build up. So I'm past my time, and I really appreciate all the questions, and I appreciate you participating and engaging here. If you want or need any other, if you have questions or want to talk, I'm happy to talk on the phone or by email. My information is right there on the screen. And I do thank you for being on this, and we'll talk to you the next time.